Hey, all you car mechanic gamers, how's it going? Hurst Quayzar here with a little how-to tutorial for you guys. I've been requested by Philip Barubi to try and give you guys some tips on how to use the workshop and how to upload your config files. Well, as you can tell on this page right here, I have several configs that I have uploaded, so I do know a little about it. I don't know everything about it, but I will try to do my best to help you along. So first and foremost, what you need to know is that you should be able, before you jump right into this, you should know how to create a config from the files in your game. Now, if you haven't, check out my tutorial video in the upper right-hand corner of the screen to figure out to use the in-game car editor and create your own creations. Now, unfortunately, I don't believe Apple, if you own an Apple computer, you do not have access to the editor. Unfortunately, I believe that's the way. It's still the same as it was in 18. So, my apologies to you. So, first and foremost, you should already have a config and a body config file already on your game files, and you already know how to get there. One other thing you may want to know is to have a separate file to stick everything in, because I mean, let's be honest. You start doing a lot of configs, you're going to get there's going to be a lot of confusion. So what I have done is I've prepared a folder. See, these are all the configs that you saw before, and this is the config we're going to use right today. Is this Tempest Magnum Joe Dirt version? I just kind of threw this config together in the editor just real quick, not a big deal, but that's the one we're going to use for today. Where can we find the files needed for the upload? That's a very good question, and what we will do is we will go there right now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go to Steam, wherever your Steam, let's see, yes, I can't really. Wanted to make that just a little bit bigger, but I can't on this screen. So go to Steam, right? So go to Steam Workshop, go to Steam, and what you want to look for is your Steam apps. Once you find your Steam apps, you'll find Common. From Common, of course, the game Car Mechanic Simulator 2021. Then you want to go to the Car Mechanic Simulator 2021 _ data. Find streaming assets. And then upload. Right here are the files you will need to upload your config. And as you can tell, there's bonus parts, there's config. This is for liveries. This is maps if you want to upload a map. Upload a photo location, there's a texture pack. So there's several different ways you could upload into the workshop. But today we are only going to look at the upload config. All right. So once we open that up, these are going to be the documents, and this is the location you're going to need to put everything into. And what you're going to want to do is leave these named exactly the way they are, just overwrite them. If that makes sense. Okay, so everything you create has to go in here, but it has to be named exactly like this. So right now I've got a body config and a config file. You know what those are. Those are from the car files themselves. You have an upload preview. Now the upload preview is a PNG file. It's a graphic file. It's a photo of your car or of your creation, and this should be 1000 KB or less, 1000 kilobytes or less, and I believe the optimum size is like a 1280 by 720. All right, so if you think about it, 1280 by 720 and 1000 KB or less for the photo properties. Otherwise, it's not going to upload right. Thing with the uploads, I'll show you what this one looks like. Grab it from the other screen. There we go. put your own logo on it. Put your own logo on it, and then create a nice, background for the vehicle. Yeah, this is one of the hot rods that I was working on. I didn't really quite like the way it came together. Couldn't get it low enough, to be quite honest with you. Um, so it's kind of still stuck on my hard drive. All right, so that's where that is. Now, upload config. Now, this is all the information that you're going to want to upload with the car, right? So we'll open this file up, and this is the information you're going to want to need, and we'll kind of step through this. So the car ID is the car file, the .cms file that you'll see in the car file itself. Just kind of copy that name without the .cms and then paste it right in here for the car ID. Package description is whatever you're going to name it. So like we're going to do the Joe Dirt, right? The package ID number. Now take a look at that ID number. That ID number is what was going to be it's going to be the identifier for your config. So when you upload this to the Steam Workshop and then you subscribe to your own config, that number will show up in another file along with all the other things that you've subscribed to, and that's going to be your config. This ID is also good for if you decide to make updates. If you decide to make an update to the config, you can just, instead of, you put that number in there, and then down here for upload type, you would put update. So this is either new or update. A package name, again, we're going to be like doing Joe Dirt package tag. It's a config file, so we're going to leave that the way it is. Visibility is private. I highly recommend that you leave it private when you upload it. And the reason why I say that is that you don't want somebody hitting it as soon as you upload it on the workshop. You want to get it up on a workshop, and you've got other things to do once you get it onto the workshop before you actually publish it to the public. All right. Okay. So what we're going to do right now is I am going to this is the sample config. This is the file we're going to need to work with, right? I need to go into my ID drive. I need to open it up in a new window. Let me go into my Steam. Let me go into Steam Apps, Common, Car Mechanic Simulator 2021, the data file, then go to Streaming Assets. From here, we go Cars. So right here are all the cars that are in, these are all the cars that are in your game. Now, all of the, never mind the Ford truck there. So all of these, you can tell, these are all the vanilla cars, right? And it's in alphabetical order. As you get down here, of these in, let's see, and the DLCs. So there's a Jaguar in here, Land Rover's in there, so it's all in alphabetical order, right? So that's where all those files show up. So this is where all the in-game files, your DLCs and your in-game files are. Now, if you back out of Streaming Assets and you go to Data, go back to Common. If you go to Steam Apps and you go to Workshop, and then you go to Content, 1190,000 is the Car Mechanic Simulator 2021 car file. If you open that up, boom, there's all those numbers I was telling you about. That package ID number, and mine was what was it? The last digits were 3591. So if I were to look through here, I think I have subscribed to it anyway. I should have subscribed to my own. It's a 28 number, 35391. This is the one. So if I were to open that up, that is bada bing, right there it is. So that is my config, right, for that particular model. All right, so now you know where those are. All right, now let's get back to it. We're going to go into, open this in a new window, go to Steam, Steam Apps, Common, 2021, 21 data, streaming assets, and cars, because mine was the Tempest Magnum, and for this particular config, I did config 3. All right, so I actually, copied body config and then made it config 3. Or I should say copied config, made it config, saved it as config 3, copied body config, saved it as body config 3. You need both these files. So now what I want to do, I'll move this over a little bit, right? I want to copy both the body config and the config 3. I want to copy those. I'm going to paste them over here. Right? Now what I'm going to end up doing is, because I've got config 3 and config, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete body config here. I'm going to delete the config file here, and then I'm going to rename body config 3 to just body config. Rename config 3 to just config, right? So you understand what I've got so far. So right these, if you look at them, if I were to open up this config file right now, you see that it's a Joe Dirt Tempest Magnum. All right, so we've got that set up right now. All right, for the upload config, this is a Word file. We'll open that up, and inside of our cars file, we have this car Tempest Magnum.cms file. What I want is just this piece of it, car_Tempest Magnum. I want that because that goes for the car ID, right? I'm going to paste it right in there. Now, package description is going to be HQ because I'm Hurst Quayzar, and I'm going to put Joe Dirt version, right? And then down here, the same, Joe Dirt version. Now for the package ID, because this is going to be a new upload, that goes away. So delete that, okay? Delete that. It's going to be a config, it's going to be private, and it is going to be new. So we have this package right now set up. We will save, make sure you save, right? So now we got the upload config saved. Now for the upload preview. Okay, so I'm going to do a little thing off camera here. I am going to, I'll do my little thing here because I use an older Paint Shop Pro program, as you can tell, but I'm going to use that, and I'm going to actually probably launch the game and get a picture of the car. So let's go back into the game and go to 2021, and we'll go ahead and play. We'll go into the car editor. So we're going to get a picture of the car in the car editor, and then what we'll end up doing is bringing it into this file. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and create a quick file. I should have done this off camera just to save some time, but at least you can see what this editor looks like if you haven't already gone over and played around with the editor. At least you kind of get the idea of what it's all about. The editor does take a little bit of time to load, so be patient with it. Older computers are even worse, so be careful with them. All right, let's go down and find our Tempest. Where's our Tempest Magnum? Right, and we have the Joe Dirt Special right there. Kind of funny, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to wing this around, kind of play around with this a little bit. I'm going to change the environment. To that right there. I'm going to change the color of the car. We'll go up here to exterior. No, that's not it. And again, change color. I want to go with a yellow. Go with a pale yellow. There we go. Right? Get that out of the way. And then what I'm going to do is just hit F12. Let's see, do I want that? There, how's that? That looks pretty good, right? I'm going to hit F12. I'm going to get a snapshot, and then what I'm going to end up doing is taking that over and editing that real quick. So let me do that off while you sit there and look at my Joe Dirt vehicle. I will grab this and get going with it. I'm hoping that this video does help you out. So hang in there. If it doesn't work out, keep trying. I can tell you this. Always back up your files. Before you ever start messing with anything, please always back up your files, because it's horrible to lose. It's horrible to lose a file, right? So please, by all means, back them up. All right, now we are back. All right, I do have it done. It's in the folder right now. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and get out of the car editor for right now. Right there it is. I can't wait to get this thing up and add it again. All right, so here we go. The Joe Dirt upload preview is right there. So let's go ahead and open up our other file right here. See if I can grab a hold of it. There we go. So this is our upload preview file. Remember, this one is the hot rod, right? So we're going to take this, we're going to drag it over. We're going to replace the file in the destination. And then what do we have? We have, voila, the Joe Dirt, a butternut yellow, a Tempest Magnum, right? So there we go. We've got that up to date. Remember, we've got the upload config. We've got it all set up. Remember, the package ID is blank for a new upload. And make sure it says new here. Again, private, you always want to upload it to private. Okay, so that's all set. So that we have these files all set, right? We have our Tempest Magnum body config and our config. Our upload config is done. Our picture is ready to go. Now what we can do is we can close all of our files here because we don't really need them anymore. And then what we want to do is launch the game. And then instead of playing it or launching the editor, you want to go to the workshop uploader. So select the uploader and then hit play. And then what this is it brings up the uploader. So right here is the uploader. The sample upload, these are the files that were in there. So what you want to go is find your config, right? Look at that. Right there's the picture. It's a Joe Dirt version. It's private. It's a config. This is the path we want to upload it. Now, like I said, sometimes it'll upload, sometimes it won't. So it'll depend on the Steam Workshop whether or not it's actually up to date or not, or up to speed or not. Sometimes it'll fail, and sometimes it'll fail because the picture's too big. Remember, the picture has to be 1,000 kilobytes or less, and it has to be about the size of a 1280 by 720. So remember that. All right, so we have actually uploaded this to our file. So if I were to go into my workshop, so we're going to go to the workshop, we're going to search, we're going to go for car mechanic 21, and then I'm going to go to my files, right? So files that you've posted, I'm just going to go to my workshop, and bam, right there she is, right? Right there it is, and I can hit the plus sign to subscribe to it. So now I'm subscribed to it. A few things we need to do from here, right? So what we want to do is open this up. First and foremost, as the rules are, we need to make sure that the title states a config. So make sure you put in config, This is the way I do it with a config, and then a description. Right. We're going to save that for right now. Our our changes have been saved. So we have that. So we now change the the HQ Joe Dirt version with a config file. The description. What I would highly recommend for you guys to do is what I do is this. I take and I take the file, right? So for the car mechanics simulator files for Joe Dirt, what I do is I open up a Word document or something, and then I make note of all the changes that I've done to it. So this is going to be my Word document that I've made, all the changes that I made to the car as in the editor, right? So these are all the changes that I made to it. Actually, I copied this, but lowered, let's see, lowered front suspension and raised the rear suspension. I just say raised it. Maintaining an aggressive stance. So there we go. So this way you can see if you have any changes in here. What I did is I put everything in here that I've done to the car. Like I removed the front license plates, I realigned the drive shaft and exhaust, upgrade the rear brakes from drum to disc. I even put my engine swaps in here. So I just let them know what the engine swaps are and if there's any issues. Now, know all about the car, probably, it'd be nice, why did you do this, or what is it for, or what idea did you come up with this, or something like that. It's always nice to have that kind of information in there for everyone that wants to download it. So I have all this. So what I would advise you do is to keep a document like this and stick it with your files. So that way you can just copy it, right? And then when we go into, we're going to go edit the title and description. We just paste it right in there, right? And then we save. Back to my item, and then that's the whole thing. We have it all set up, right? All right. Add and edit images and videos. Now, when you do a config, they request that you upload at least a minimum of 5 pictures of the car, and probably, and it would be nice to see it in various states, in a junkyard, at an auction, all done up. What I'm going to do, right, is I'm just going to choose a bunch of files, just for the giggles, so that you can see what I've done here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose, let's see, I'll choose that file. I will choose that file. Let's see. I think you can only do it one at a time. So we'll do, you can't, you gotta do one at a time. So we'll open that one up and we'll upload that one. Right? So there you go. So you need at least 5 images, and we'll just upload some silly images. Let's choose something else. These are from the very beginning when I had this, so we'll just throw some files in there just for the giggles of it, like I said. You can tell these are a lot of the configs. I've done a lot of the configs over the past year. Nothing actually nothing actually to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll grab one more just for the fun of it. Where's a junkyard pick at? Maybe We'll pick up junkyard pick. There we go. So now we have 5 files all set up, right? So now you have 5 files. So you can save and continue. That way they all populate down here, and then people can come through and go, oh, that's look nice. Ooh, that looks nice. This is showing off your config. So you know, these are going to be helpful to the people who want to, that you may want to pull in and have them download your config, right? You want to show off your prized possession here. So this is the way to do it. All right, so you've done that. All right, add and remove contributors. This is this would be helpful if you wanted to add some, like for RPM Games, Ryan, he sets up a lot of he had set up a lot of liveries for me, so I would add him on to livery if I added a livery to that. For this, let me see if I can find. So this is, I'm going to add him to it, right? And then I'm going to add, let's see if I can find. See, Blitz is in here. See if Philip is in here. We'll add Philip because this was his idea anyway. He's probably offline right now. There we go. There's Philip. All right. So we've added contributors, right? So these are, and it shows up on this config. So when people come to this page, they see who helped out with this. All right. Now, edit links. Edit links is if you have a Facebook or YouTube account, you can put it in there and you can update that, right? Allow comments, basically yes or no. So yes, check it, or no. Delete will delete the config completely off a workshop, so it will never be seen again, okay? Add and remove required DLC. If you have a DLC that's required for this particular config, say you took a Land Rover motor and slapped it into one of the vanilla cars and you wanted to keep that Land Rover motor in there, you would come over here and you would say, oh, you're going to need the Land Rover DLC. You're also going to need, I don't know, what was it that I usually use, the geez, I don't even know anymore. We'll say the Jaguar DLC, right? We need both those for this config. So then it says required DLCs. So that tells you right then and there, for somebody looking at this, that you require to have these DLCs. All right, are you with me so far? Okay. Add and remove required items. Now this is add required items. What this is, these are published, that I've published. These are items in my favorites. Now, for something like this, say that Fully Sick or Dead Bob here, you know, Corey did the 35 truck, Old Timer did the Salem 1500 Lightning, Lit did the Ferrari, French Toast has done that Ford Fiesta. Okay, so you find one of these cars that one of these modders have done. And let me say this right now. I am not a modder. I just play around with the config files and mess around with it a little bit and try to help other people out. I do not do any type of 3D modeling, and that's what these guys do. These guys are great at it. They're perfect at it, and they keep the cars at high standards on the workshop. So I am not one of these guys. But if you see one of their cars and you want to tweak it a little bit to your satisfaction and you want to publicize that, you must get their written permission to do that. Okay, so please, by all means, if you want to do that, please get their permission. So say the Skyline, we'll say the Skyline, we'll add that in, right? So we'll save and continue. We'll see what that looks like. So what it's saying is required items. This item requires all of the following other items. So you have to be subscribed to this Skyline GTR before this will let you subscribe to this one. All right, so that's the way that works. So you have to have that. All right, and then change visibility right here is basically public, which everybody and their brother gets to see, friends only, and that's in your friends list. Only their friends will only be able to see it, and that's good to use to say, okay, say, hey Hurst, I've got this config, I've got it set for friends only. This is the link to it. Let me know what you think. So because I'm on their friends list, I can go in, I can find it, I can subscribe to it, I can pull it up in game, play around with it, and see what I like, and give them feedback on it, right? So that's what that's pretty good for friends. Hidden is private. Unlisted, I'm not even quite sure what unlisted is. So I am not even quite sure what unlisted is. If somebody knows, they can hit the comment section down below. I would certainly appreciate it. So there you go. That's pretty much all of the gist of it. Again, add links if this is for YouTube. So I would put my YouTube channel in there, or this doesn't have a place for Discord or anything, but that's where you would put that. All right, and then once you have it all done, you're good to go. So there you go. I mean, that's what it looks like. So we'll go back to the workshop. And then I'll go back to my files. Now, if I had set it up for public, if you hit most recent, it would show up right here. Okay, that's where it would show up. So it'd show up as the most recent. But going back to my private files, right there. It's right there. You click right on it. I'm subscribed to it. Right? Okay. So what is the number? That number, remember I was telling you that package ID number, right? If you were to hit the share button right here, guess what? Right there is that package ID number. So if you're looking for it in your files, right there is your package ID number. Just write it down, and then you can find it really quickly in the files. Okay. All right. If you have any questions or if you have any problems, by all means, hit me up in the comment section down below. I hope this helps you out. I hope you can get your configs out there to the world, or at least to some of your friends out there, and have fun with it. Please be aware that if you put in something that's just absolutely stupid, the moderators of the workshop may remove it. So please be kind to the moderators, and be respectful of the rules. One other thing, while we're thinking about it, we go to rules. We'll go to discussions here. If we were to go to discussions and we go to workshop discussions, in workshop discussions we have config file rules before uploading. All right, so here are some other rules that you need to abide by before you upload it. All right, so this is an important maximum of 5 per week, which means 5 every 7 days. You can't just upload a whole lot of configs, right? You must use parts that can be purchased in the game shop. You can't just add silly parts from someplace else. Important, must use the same complete name on the workshop as the in-game version of Del Rey Custom, and then your personal variation name, right? Okay. Workshop name must have config at the start. So remember, we put that config at the very beginning of it. Must have a workshop thumbnail, which we did. A minimum of 5 screenshots. Needs to be your own work. Please do not copy or plagiarize somebody else's work. Must work by subscribing only. Needs to work in all locations. Now this is what you would do is after you've done your config, you would do your testing. So try to find it in the junkyard, try to find it in the auction, in the salon. So you would go and you would try to find those. You must list all required DLCs on the right side. Remember, I showed you that. Must have realistic values, realistic HP, price values, torque value. I won't get into a whole lot of that because that's dealing with the text file itself. And I don't want to get too deep into that because I really don't want you messing up your file. So we're not going to mess with that too much, okay? So I don't want to even go down that road. Let's keep you just in the editor and just uploading configs. I must use available in-game ET only, and then he had more to come. All right. So that make sure if you are question some of the rules, make sure you come back and take a look at these before you upload. All right. I hope you have the best time with the car editor one. I hope to see a lot of your files out here. And by all means, ping me, hit me up, throw a comment in the video down below. Let me know where your config is. I would love to subscribe to it. All right. Until the next time, I wish you guys the best of luck. Again, back up your files all the time. Make sure you're good to go. One quick note I would say, after you've got it on the workshop and you've got yourself subscribed to it, right? What I would suggest is that you would go back into your files. So I'm going to go back into my Steam. I would go back. I need to do a couple of things here. Steam apps, common. I'm going to go back into the cars files where I'm going, right? So I'm going to go to my Tempest Magnum. So what I'm going to do is, because I've got it here and I have it from the workshop, right? So I have it basically doubled in the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this file because this is the Joe Dirt file. So I'm going to delete that file. Now, what I'm also going to do is, because I have, let's see here. Workshop, content, 1900. Oh, no, wait a minute. I don't want that. I want my common. Got myself twisted here. Assets, upload. Now, because I've got all the proper files here, what I really want to do is save these files, because these will constantly get overwritten. For every time you upload something, these will constantly get overwritten. And if you look right now, if I were to go back into the upload config, look what popped right in there. Remember, that was a blank. That was blank. Right there's your package ID number. Now, if I were to make a change to it in the editor, what I would do is save it as, I would make this as an update and then upload the file again. And what it's going to do is overwrite the file that's on the Steam Workshop and update it online. And then anybody who has subscribed to it, the next time they fire off the game, that will update in their files. So that's how that would work. I get there to that. What I wanted to do was desktop. Open it in a new window here. Files, Joe Dirt. And because I want to keep all my files together, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy these files over. Paste. Windows is okay. So now I've got all of my files. I've got them saved in a separate file away from Car Mechanic Simulator. So if I need to go in, I've got it. All right. So, any questions? Like I said, hit me up down below. Let me know what you think of the video, and I will talk to you guys later. Again, look forward to those configs. It's Hurst Quayzar saying good night, everyone, and I am out.